Hey guys, Ken here from Crosshair Games X. I'm going to put this right here because this is the one I'm using to control my mouse currently, or control my computer currently. And this is another nice little mouse review, and this time I'm bringing you a review and overlook of the Basilisk Hyperspeed from Razer. And it's kind of a mouthful. It's the lowest tier wireless Basilisk there is. That being said, the ultimate is more than $100 more in this one. This is Razer's kind of answer back to the G502 shape. As you can see, it's very similar. It just lacks the buttons, like the DPI buttons up here and the shift button over here that the G502 has. And I kind of like that, my hands being very big. I'm always misclicking those buttons. So, here it is. There is no RGB on it, and I really do appreciate that. It's nice and humble. Never was a fan of RGB, and this thing is on par with the G703 in comfort. Surprisingly enough, I had said in a video before that the Rocket Cane AMO 200 wireless mouse, as you can see in the background there, was the most comfortable I've ever felt. Over time, I started to fingertip grip it, and it remains probably my most accurate mouse that I have. However, as I fingertip grip it, naturally that's kind of how my hand sets on the Rocket Cane. It just kind of cramps over time. Fingertip grip is the most exhausting grip there is. On the other hand, this mouse has come close to it in performance in FPS games, and I've been using this and putting a really heavy load on it for the past few days. I've been playing a lot of Titanfall 2 as it has come down on Steam. I'll probably showcase a few shots of mine with this mouse later on in this video. I'll edit that in. But for now, I just want to talk about why you should get this mouse. 100%. If you're into ergo designs, if you like your G502 but don't like the buttons on it, this is the mouse to go to. It's just super smooth to use. There are a few things that I want to get into, but this thing is, one of my best performing mice I have when it comes to first-person shooters. And when I do want to get serious, when I want to get those flick shots, this is where I go. It's a little on the heavier side, but I think that's fine considering my hands are so large, and because I use quite a low DPI. At 400 and low sensitivity in games, this thumb rest does help. Then again, a lighter mouse would be a lot better. A lighter mouse with this ergo shape would probably be industry killer. That being said, right now it's my best performing mouse. The second being the Rocket Cane series, and the third being the G703 Lightspeed. You can see it back there. I have the G Pro Wireless here, which is probably one of my least favorite mice, actually, to be honest. I'm not too sure. It's, I'll probably make a separate video on that. But anyway, on with the review. As you can see, you have your average two buttons here, and nothing else that you would find outside of, your average gaming mouse. At $60, it's not very budget, but for a wireless mouse, I suppose it can be considered such. They did go some lengths to make it a lot lighter, as you could see right through that wheel right there. Basically, right now, it's my favorite mouse. Um, the one problem I do have with it is that the mouse feet are a little strange, as you could see. I just think there's just too much space in the center, and there are no pads here, which would help with the glide. Outside of that, it's almost as smooth as the G703. It's about as smooth as the Rocket Cane series. It's about as smooth as a Zowie mouse, but if you like to lean, if you're right-handed, of course, if you like to lean on your right-hand side near your pinky a lot more, you're going to be catching a lot more of your mouse pad. Now, this thing only goes up to 16,000 DPI. As I said, it's a last-gen a sensor. It's the 5G rather than the new Focus Plus. I did put it through its rounds. As you can see, there's a lot of dust down here from the pad. I need to clean the pad, to be honest. The clicks are nice and crispy. I'll probably bring it up to the mic at some point, but I wanted to discuss also, along with the shape, it being very narrow. And this is cool if you'd like to fingertip grip. It does work. It's good for claw grip. I did want to discuss the battery life. Now, as a mount, it's not the Viper, so it doesn't recharge, doesn't have its own dock. It is battery powered. Now, I don't really have a problem with that outside of weight. You know, AA batteries are very heavy things for a mouse, and the G305 has proven this, as it is one hefty little guy. This being lighter than the G502, even with a AA battery, can be made lighter to make your FPS experience a lot better. Now, this is a wireless mouse, and it does come with a place to put your wireless dongle, as I'll show you. This is a magnetized um, backplate that you could pull right off. No problem. It's actually on there quite sturdy. I'll put it right back on and show you how sturdy it is. I could try to remove it any which way, slide it back, anything, and it won't budge. But this little lip down here helps you pull it right off easily. Now, here is the innards. Right here is where you could put the wireless dongle for the 2.4 gigahertz. It is 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth, but Bluetooth I do not advise using unless you're using it for another device. 2.4 gigahertz is the way to go. Bluetooth is just too old, too archaic today when you want to play some games with it. As you can see, I have a AAA battery in here with a converter. It converts AAA batteries to, or AA batteries to AAA batteries. Be sure to use lithium batteries. And use those lithium batteries with a converter if you want maximum, efficiency. You want it as light as possible, and you still want all those hours on the mouse without having to replace the battery, which is around 240 hours or so on 2.4 gigahertz and way over 400 with Bluetooth. I think it'll be 450 hours max. So what you do is just slide it on in there, and then put the plate on. No RGB, just a nice symbol in the back, and you flick it to 2.4 or Bluetooth. Of course, you're gonna have to plug the dongle into your computer, and that'd be fine. But this mouse is, easily one of my favorites right now. It's super comfortable. Even after extended use, I play Titanfall a lot. The wheel is actually really smooth. It's just like the one on the Viper. I actually have the Viper at work right now, so I'm not really gonna have to, or gonna be able to use it at the moment, or compare the wheel. But that being said, this wheel is tactile, but very smooth to use. It's not like a Zowie mouse wheel where, it's incredibly tactile, rattly, and loud. This is very quiet, still clearly tactile. You got your DPI button there. I probably can show you the clicks here. I just don't have a microphone down there next to my hand. I'm using a headset, but this is mouse 1. This is mouse 2. This is the wheel. And this is front. And this is the rear button. So these two buttons right here are really easy for me to use. My hand kind of gravitates naturally toward my thumb curving outward like this when playing games, and that prevents any misclicks with the button. As you can see, my thumb is actually on the rear button, and it will misclick or mispress the button in any intense moments where I tend to squeeze the mouse a little. So I have adapted, and my thumb is arched a little more, and that has helped me. It doesn't mean I can't, reach the mouse buttons quickly anymore. It just prevents those misclicks from happening. The groove is nice, a nice indicator for where my thumb should be anyway, so it's not like I'm going to have my thumb on the mouse pad and causing any traction or anything. These buttons are nice and responsive, although not as responsive as a Rocket Cane mouses, or the G703, or even a Fanatic one. But these are a little more stiff, but you can still feel the quality. And yeah, I'll get to the gameplay in just a bit, showcase some of my aiming in one of my matches. One of my better starts to the game, all things considered. I am very new to the Titanfall series, but I, kind of impressed myself even. So let's get to that.
Keep it together! Stay in formation! Eye forward!
Double kill. Well done, pilot. Good triple kill.
Reinforcements on your six!
I don't think that team knows who they're messing with. Well on your way to getting your... Let's pick up the pace. That's how you do a job. Titanfall is being prepared. I hired the right... Titanfall is being prepared.
Pilot T-Jet, stay safe, pilot.
Nice jump, pilot. Finish the job. Double killer, pilot.